Hi Diorgang, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing an eyebrow tutorial. Yes, you heard it here first, an eyebrow how-to tutorial. People always ask me about my eyebrows and how I keep them groomed and like who does them. Truth is, I do them myself. I get them threaded occasionally. But before we get into this video, if you haven't already, you already know if you are a part of the Diorgang, but if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. And once you do that, we'll get right into this. So here are all the products that you'll need to tweeze your eyebrows. We have rose water, artificial rose water, and we have regular rose water, natural rose water. This can be used to just kind of calm down the skin and take down any inflammation. Next we have rubbing alcohol, and we have St. Ives apricot scrub. It's best to use a gentle to moderate. I have deep, but it's best to use that. And then we have the cleansing water. Okay, and then next we have our tweezers. Make sure to get the sharpest pair that you own. We have scissors. Please try to get a sharp pair as well. And then we have a brow brush, or you can use a spoolie if you don't own any. Last but not least, you cannot forget a mirror. You're going to need that. So we're just going to take the rubbing alcohol first, a cotton round, and we are going to begin to cleanse the tweezers. And we're just going to start by putting some rubbing alcohol onto the cotton round. We're going to start by just gently cleaning the tweezers, getting any bacteria from the last use. And we're gonna make sure that it's clean before we go on to the next thing. Make sure you always sanitize the products that you have for any form of use. Next, we're going to take a cotton round again, and we're gonna place some alcohol onto the cotton round to cleanse our scissors. Make sure the cotton round is saturated with rubbing alcohol, and we're just gonna gently clean up our scissors before we go ahead and use them. Now, because my hair is short, I'm just gonna take my little headband.
My hair out of my face.
Swabs and my miracle water, just to make sure that there is no dirt. You want to make sure that this is a very clean process. After that, alcohol. This works for me, and it kind of just helps so that it's clean. So now you're gonna take your mirror and take your brow brush and just brush your brows in place. To really get the shape, you kind of want to brush them up. And even if you're not like me and usually get your eyebrows threaded, you just want to kind of follow the natural shape of your brow, right? If you have eyebrows that don't really have a shape, I would recommend going to a professional, getting your eyebrows waxed or threaded, and trying this method only if you have gotten your eyebrows done. if you don't know how to shape your brows, I don't think that this would be the best method for the first time. But I'm just gonna brush these up because I can kind of follow the shape of my brow. I'm literally just going to pluck any excess hair that does not follow this line. Just pluck away any hairs that do not follow. And you want to grab the hairs and pull away from the skin. Having a guide from a previous threading or waxing helps so that you don't over pluck, because you've gone to somebody else who can see your eyebrows and kind of make sure that they're even. So when you're doing this, you're kind of just going to redo what they did already. Make sure that when you're doing this, the lighting is good so you can really get into those hairs and you can see anything that is stray. So once this is done, if you feel like you have any irritation, you can get ice, or you can just take a cotton swab, spray the rose water, just put it on there and just kind of pat it down. Now to do the top of the brow, you are going to take your brow brush, brush the brow into its shape, and if you have to go onto the top, you're gonna brush your brows in the opposite direction, and this is just kind of going to give a defined line for the brow. So if you need help again, this is when you can take a pencil of some sort, preferably white, and you can just draw a line following your brow shape so you can get a defined angle. So now that this is done, I'm going to take my brow brush again. I'm kind of just going to brush my brows, and once they're in place, I'm going to see if my brows need to be trimmed. Now when you brush downward, any excess hair that you see here, you're just going to take your scissors and trim very little of the hairs. You are not going to go up too high, you're just going to trim them lightly. Just trim them a little bit. Now another brow tip is to not pluck right here. You don't want your eyebrow to look too boxy, you want it to look as natural as possible, so try your best not to take from the front. If you need to do in here in this region, you can, but once it starts to come to where your eyebrow starts, unless you have a unibrow, please do not interfere with the natural beginning. Now if you have a really thick like unibrow and you want to figure out where to start, always follow your nose right here. Always follow, use this as a guide. That's where your brows should start, okay? So once that's done, and you brush, you've got a very defined shape. And you can just apply any more rose water if you like, if you feel like you're a little bit irritated, or if it's unbearable, you can easily get some ice and just run it over. Naturally, my brows are not identical, and what you realize is that for most people, they do not have the same exact eyebrow. So don't worry if one eyebrow is slightly shaped different than the other. We're just going to brush this up, some alcohol, and begin to tweeze them. As you can see, these brows are not completely identical. They both have a different shape naturally, but I tried to get them as close as possible as I could. Brush this down and literally just neaten up the top. Now you're just gonna brush this. Brush a little bit of the brow downward. Grab the scissors. Just trim just a teeny bit, nothing too crazy. And now you're all done. And there you have it. Well, once you're all done, you can grab some ice or you can grab the rose water. Spray some on a cotton swab and literally just pat your face down to get rid of any irritation, any redness, kind of just calm down the brows. If you feel pain, if you're not used to tweezing, you can get some ice. This tutorial was helpful. Once your brows have kind of calmed down from the tweezing can be a little bit irritating on the skin after you've applied your ice and everything. Wait until later in the day when you are going to cleanse your face to use a gentle to moderate exfoliant and just place them over your eyebrows and just do a very gentle rub. This will help to prevent any ingrown hairs once your hair is growing back, or any like irritation, pimples of that sort. Also guys, I would like to say that if you make any mistakes, just know that it's not the end of the world. You can definitely fill in your brows with a brow gel or brow pencil afterwards. I'm going to try and get a tutorial up on how to fill in your brows from over plucking or in general. You know, everyone, I mean, not everyone, but some of you might have sparse little areas like I do naturally. And I think that will be a whole nother video in itself, but I hope that this is helpful. I hope that you guys were able to achieve some nice fancy brows from this tutorial. Please remember that it would be best to try this tutorial if you've already gotten your eyebrows previously threaded or waxed and it's starting to grow back. If you have never done your eyebrows before, I wouldn't have recommended this method. I'll see you guys next time.
I want